Hello, future Grandmasters. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Obviously, you guys have had great feedback on the Gotham chess videos. He posted a video where he talked about Hikaru's analysis and my analysis. So I wanted to react to it and share my thoughts, and also to sort of reiterate that my offer to coach him is very serious. And to be honest, I would actually prefer if the initial training or discussions happened off camera, because that's where I feel like I could offer very valuable advice without fear of judgment. And throughout this video, he talks about how he's worried about being judged and there's all this pressure. So that's one thing, but let's see what he says.
That I have a top 3 player in the world. I don't know if Hikaru's number 2 or number 3, watching every step of the way.
I would say he's at least number 3, considering me and another player, but
live streaming, making recaps. And since I restarted the journey, it has been a constant question stream of, have you seen what person A has said about you? Have you seen what person B has said about you?
So this is something that I've experienced myself. Obviously, I've been under a lot of scrutiny, and when I was playing super high profile matches, there'd be 10 videos all my games, and of course, it's difficult. You know, at some point, I would basically like download an extension to block all social media, just stay off of it. So, you know, one thing that I genuinely advise for Levy while he's playing and competing is that, you know, he should literally block all social media during the entirety of the tournament. Literally, at no point should he read comments, or like he should literally have like someone help him, or he just posts, he records, and like he's being monitored to not check things. Like, this is really what I would recommend. Obviously, when it's going well, you know, you want to read comments nonetheless, but I really think that when he's playing, he needs to be in his own zone.
But I really just wanted to like train, play, take you all through the process, make recaps about the games, and not have to answer things like, did you see the Hikaru clip where somebody asked him if he thinks you can be a grandmaster and he says no? But that's just clickbait. I mean, he kind of elaborates that I have too many commitments, and that's sort of, that's really, yeah. I mean, if I went radio silent, you never saw me again, and all I did was train chess, my chances of becoming a grandmaster are higher than they are now, certainly. I'm not going to do that. And that's, you know, that's sort of part of the problem.
Well, the thing about commitments is true, but I do think that there are some psychological sort of breakthroughs that are really important. And let's say that if he intrinsically believed that he could become Grandmaster, then I would, if he truly believed that, then, you know, whatever sacrifice would be necessary would be secondary. So I would say that first of all, he needs to sort of work on the mental and the perspective and the mindset to actually have full faith in himself before he takes sacrifices. Because if you make sacrifices and you put pressure on yourself and you're not fully committed, then every single thing that goes wrong is going to make you doubt yourself, and it's going to, you know, everything's going to collapse.
But during this tournament, I really was like, wow, this, I really hate this pressure. Like, I'm not loving playing.
Yeah, well, listen, I completely relate to this and understand exactly what, you know, when, obviously, usually Levy is on the receiving end. He's the one covering my games or other top players' games, and I think that it's all about perspective. And obviously, like, when I lose a game and I see Hikaru, Levy, all these people make videos about it, of course it can cause me to spiral. But I'm going to give one piece of advice that is, honestly, it's going to sound a bit stupid, but this is honestly what worked for me. I realized that if I lose and things go badly, you know, there's going to be negative feedback, there's going to be Reddit threads. So I simply told myself, okay, stop losing. And I understand that, like, when you're under pressure and you're dejected and you're jaded from all the loss, like, someone to tell you just win could sound demeaning, but in reality, that's the only solution. Like, if you're a chess player, your entire happiness and fulfillment is based on your success. So instead of having the losses sort of demotivate you, make you more dejected, it should simply motivate you. Like, I don't want to feel like that again, so I'm going to play and I'm going to win. And a big part of, like, if, you know, obviously the highs and the lows, there's a massive degree, right? Because he has all these fans, and when he does well, he feels amazing. And that high probably doesn't compare to the lows of doing terribly. So he really needs to find that balance and to realize that, like, when you're playing the actual game itself, he should feel a level of pressure and urgency that makes him play better. And that pressure, when you can harness those negative emotions, can make you play really, really well. But it can also make you collapse like you did in this case.
I just want to train and play and win or lose. Like I want to learn and I want to keep training. But I felt like an animal at the zoo, and like you're like hitting on the glass, you know, and I'm reacting. And
well, you know, I've been in the same situation, right? All my wins and losses have been dissected. So I certainly feel like my experience, I could offer unique advice to Levy.
I mean, that's not like a reason that I underperformed. It's just the thought of it just really started like getting me more rattled than normal. And the thing is, everything is better when you're winning. When you're winning, you don't care. You win. You're gaining rating. Like, but the whole point of the Road to GM journey was not to obsess over the result. And it's not like I was going to win 8 tournaments in a row and become a grandmaster. I'm going to lose, but it's so much more painful and like magnified and everything when I lose. And I just feel...
Well, that's got to motivate you. That has to motivate you. Like this is, for me, there were many moments where I looked very stupid. I had bad results. I failed in the biggest stages, but this is the moment when he really, really has to dig deep and to keep fighting. And when the tournament went badly and he started taking these quick draws, he gave up, right? And now he seems very dejected, where he just needs to keep fighting. Again, he needs to make some very, very drastic changes, right? His entire mindset, his entire training regimen, his entire approach. Like he needs a 180 full mindset approach, like change. Like every single part of his game needs to completely change. There's nothing. You just got to like start from scratch and rebrand himself as a chess player, and just sort of like let all of that trauma and bad results and anxiety in the past.
Now, on top of having to stay off social media, I have to hire a sports psychologist, or I have to work with a mental coach, or I have to do...
The thing with sports psychologists and mental coaches is that they don't really... Chess is an individual game that an experienced chess player and coach would be the equivalent of like a mental coach. But if like a sports psychologist who doesn't know anything about chess is highly ineffective.
To conclude by saying that's sort of why I said what I said after my second recap. And the irony is not lost on me that on this channel we make fun of, you know, low elo chess kind of as a meme, and, you know, we have Guess the Elo. And in that series, it's me clowning on chess games. So obviously I should not be sensitive to the fact that people are clowning on my chess games. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm just saying that the irony is not lost on me. It's just one is a voluntary submission process and low elo chess is hilarious. And one is like, you know, working toward a life goal of a thing that you've been doing for 20 years very publicly, while the entire world in chess does not have subjectivity when they watch your games. They have objectivity. So they just immediately see that to which degree you are an idiot.
Yeah, so I really think that he needs to change the tournaments. He needs to change the openings. He needs to really look at all of his games from an outside perspective, and like, you know, he needs a complete overhaul. Like for when I made my big breakthrough, and obviously I've been blacklisted, I've dealt with all these terrible things. My biggest breakthrough was me simply looking myself in the mirror and saying, the only thing that's going to fix this is winning. And as soon as I made that decision, you know, things got a lot better for me. And although it was miserable at times, you'll feel better in the long term.
Which leads me to Hans Niemann. I didn't think through my response. I responded to him while I was in an Uber and about 3 minutes from my house, and I just typed something out and I sent it, and I immediately regretted when I sent it because I knew how it would be perceived. But I knew right away when I sent it, I was like, oh, people are going to think that I am not a serious player. I'm just doing this for content. And
but again, this hyperfixation on people's perception he needs to get rid of this. Like he can't. I understand how being a YouTuber, you become hyperfixated on perception and you have to cater to the audience, but it's extremely destructive mindset when you're competing. Like the only thing you should be thinking about at the chessboard is what the best move is. Anything else is distracting.
The problem is it's a mix of skill and things I can practice, but also the spotlight. And I don't know if you can train the nerves in the spotlight. And maybe you can, and maybe in the long run I will.
Well, listen, Levy, I've played on the biggest spotlight sort of imaginable, right? I've experienced that, and I've navigated that quite well. And despite everything that's happened to me, I've continued to improve and fight. And that is only because I've had a indestructible mindset that has helped guide me through the most difficult periods of my chess career and life. So I completely understand. You have 6 million subscribers, all these views. I completely understand. And I can say this, that the only solution is to win or to give up. If you let yourself brood and hyperfixate on negativity and you get dejected, things are only going to get more and more worse. He needs to wake up one day and he needs to look at the mirror. He needs to ask himself, do I truly believe I can become a grandmaster? He needs to be so delusionally like into this goal and this journey that as soon as he, let's say, accepts that even though he might not fully believe it, that he's going to do everything possible, I guarantee you everything will switch like this. And for me, there was a point where I went from 2,700 to 2,640. And it was a very difficult period. I received no invitations. It was absolutely terrible. I lost like 60 points in 1 month. And I was like, wow, this is pretty bad. But I still, at every single moment, believed that I could become the world champion. And that has been my, the guiding force of my career.
So will I take Hans up on his offer? I think I will. But that sort of leads me to my next and final point, which is whether it's Hans, whether it's any coach, whether it's Nick Shans, I'm going to train. But I think the future for the Road to Grandmaster series, for my own well-being, is that I don't publicize the entire training process.
Here's my advice, Levy. Look at the European circuit. Pack a suitcase, take a vlog camera, hire a videographer, and go from tournament to tournament to tournament. Play 3-4 tournaments non-stop. Have a videographer cover your every single move. Make short recaps if you can. But please, if you're gonna do this, at your age and at your rating, you have to go all in. Like at one point when I was 2480, I lived in Europe. I lived in hotels. I played 4 tournaments a month. If he wants to go to Europe, just play the open circuit and just grind and just play and play and play and play. And honestly, traveling Europe and seeing new places, it's a lot more of an interesting lifestyle than playing in New York. He needs to sort of embrace the Grandmaster lifestyle first, enjoy the game regardless of the result, and then, he has the best chance.
The truth is, I will train, and I will do it quietly, and I will make improvements. And when I'm ready to play again, I still have to make a decision yet how publicly I'm going to go about the whole thing. Because either I have to really work on my mental, I have to hire a mental coach and so on. I have to take a shot of whiskey before every game that apple juice before, every game that I play or what. But
yeah, well, listen, alcohol before a game, it's not a solution. It's certainly something that top grandmasters might have experimented with. But I really think this is belief. And, his training regimen, I know exactly, if I was Levy and I was all in, I would move to Europe. He should rent a place in Europe. Levy's, he's got plenty of resources and he should have like 2 2060 grandmasters live with him full time. And he should literally play 4 to 8 hours of blitz against the strongest players in the world, play rapid. Full immersion is the only solution. He's playing a tournament once every 2 months. He's not going all in. Obviously, I understand his hesitation because he has this amazing YouTube career, right? And in a purely ideal world, he just takes a break from YouTube and just does chess, but that's not possible, right? However, I really would urge him to just take the leap because, when I was in high school, I skipped the last 4 months of school, and I was never destined to become this top player or maybe a future world champion, but I took risks at some of the most important junctions in my life. And I was able to not regret any decisions because I took those risks. So I would urge Levy, obviously I'm much younger, but I have a lot of experience in chess, to take the risk and to pursue his dreams. So thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, check out all my social media channels. I stream every Tuesday and Friday on Twitch. Let me know if you want to see more of this content. Peace out, and see you all.